Expiration dates, what is the truth? Is it a scam? How does it apply to different types of foods and food storage? We've all been there, staring at a carton of milk or a box of crackers, trying to decipher what the expiration date really means. Is it still safe to consume? Should we toss it out? And what about foods that don't have an expiration date at all? In this blog post, we'll explore the truth behind those mysterious dates printed on our food labels. From debunking common myths to explaining how different types of foods are affected, you'll come away with a better understanding of expiration dates and how they relate to your food storage habits. So let's dig in and uncover the truth about this often misunderstood topic. What are expiration dates? Expiration dates are printed on food packaging to indicate how long the product is safe to consume. These dates are determined by manufacturers who perform various tests and studies to determine the shelf life of their products. There are two types of expiration dates: sell-by and use-by. A sell-by date tells retailers when a product should be pulled from store shelves, while a use-by date indicates when the product will no longer be at its peak quality. It's important to note that expiration dates refer only to quality and freshness, not necessarily safety. Eating food past its expiration date won't necessarily make you sick, but it may taste stale or lose some nutritional value. Different foods have different shelf lives based on factors like moisture content, acidity levels, and packaging materials. For example, canned goods can last for years past their printed expiration date due to their sealed packaging. Ultimately, it's up to consumers to use common sense when it comes to consuming expired foods. If something smells or tastes off or has an unusual consistency, it's best not to take any chances and toss it out. How do expiration dates apply to different types of foods? Different types of foods have different expiration dates. For instance, perishable foods like meat and dairy products usually have shorter expiration dates compared to non-perishable items such as canned goods or dry pantry staples. This is because fresh food has a higher risk of getting contaminated by bacteria that can lead to foodborne illnesses if consumed after the expiry date. Expiration dates also vary depending on how the product is packaged. Foods stored in glass containers may last longer than those packed in plastic since they are less prone to oxidation and degradation. Additionally, some products come with best before labels, which do not necessarily mean that the food is unsafe for consumption but rather an indication of quality changes over time. It's important to note that while following these expiration dates may help reduce waste and ensure safety, it's not always necessary to throw away food once it expires. Many times, using your senses, smell, taste, can give you an indication of whether or not a particular food item has gone bad. Ultimately, understanding how different types of foods expire can help you make informed decisions about what you consume and when you should dispose of certain items from your pantry or fridge. What is the truth about expiration dates? It's no secret that expiration dates play a crucial role in food safety. But what is the truth behind those seemingly arbitrary numbers? The reality is, there isn't one clear-cut answer. First and foremost, it's important to understand that expiration dates are not standardized across all foods. Some products have best-by or sell-by dates, while others have firm expiration dates. These labels are determined by manufacturers based on factors such as product composition and potential for bacterial growth. While these labels do provide valuable information about a product's freshness and quality, they aren't foolproof indicators of safety. In fact, many foods can still be consumed safely past their expiration date if stored properly. Ultimately, common sense should prevail when it comes to consuming expired food. If something smells off or looks suspicious, it's best to err on the side of caution and dispose of it rather than risking illness. The bottom line? Expiration dates serve an important purpose in ensuring food quality and safety but shouldn't be taken as gospel truth. Use your own judgment and keep an eye out for signs of spoilage when deciding whether or not to consume expired items. How does it apply to food storage? When it comes to food storage, The expiration date is a crucial piece of information. It tells us when the product is no longer safe for consumption and should be discarded. Proper food storage can also help extend the life of certain foods beyond their printed expiration date. One important factor in food storage is temperature. Foods that are stored at room temperature have a shorter shelf life than those kept in the fridge or freezer. For example, meat and dairy products should always be refrigerated to prevent bacteria growth. Another important consideration is packaging. Airtight containers can help keep foods fresh for longer periods of time by preventing exposure to air and moisture. This includes items like nuts, grains, and dried fruit which may not have an expiration date but can still go rancid if not stored properly. It's also important to rotate your stock regularly, using older items first before they expire. This helps ensure you're consuming food at its freshest and safest point. Proper food storage techniques combined with paying attention to expiration dates can help minimize waste while keeping you safe from consuming expired or spoiled foods. Is the expiration date a scam? Expiration dates on food products have been around for a long time, and some people question whether they are legitimate or simply a scam. The truth is that there are different types of expiration dates, and each one has its own meaning. Some foods have sell-by dates, which indicate the date by which the retailer should sell the product to ensure optimal freshness. However, this does not mean that the product is spoiled after that date. It can still be safe to consume for several days or even weeks after. Other foods may have best by or use by dates, indicating when the product is at its peak quality but not necessarily indicating safety concerns if consumed past that point. It's important to note that while expiration dates do serve a purpose in ensuring consumer safety and quality control measures, they should not be taken as gospel. Consumers should use their senses, smell, sight, taste, to determine if a food item is still safe to consume beyond its expiration date. It's always better to err on the side of caution when consuming expired items, but don't let an expiration date automatically dictate your decision-making process. How do expiration dates apply to different types of foods and food storage? Expiration dates vary depending on the type of food and how it is stored. For example, perishable foods like dairy products, meat and poultry tend to have shorter expiration dates because bacteria can grow quickly in these items. On the other hand, non-perishables such as canned goods or dried grains can last much longer. It's important to note that expiration dates are not always a strict indicator of when a product will spoil. In some cases, they may be more of an estimate for quality rather than safety concerns. This means that consuming certain foods past their expiration date might not necessarily make you sick, but could affect its taste or texture. Proper storage also plays a crucial role in extending the shelf life of food items. For instance, refrigeration can slow down bacterial growth in perishables while keeping them at room temperature would speed up spoilage. In general, it's best to use your judgment when deciding whether a food item is still good after its expiration date has passed by examining its smell and appearance before consuming it. Foods that don't have expiration dates. While most foods have expiration dates, there are a few exceptions. Some of these include salt, sugar, vinegar and honey. These items can last for years without going bad as they inhibit the growth of bacteria due to their high acidity or low moisture content. Another food that doesn't require an expiration date is canned goods. As long as the can remains intact and undamaged, the contents inside should be safe to consume indefinitely. However, it's important to note that while canned foods may not expire in terms of safety, their quality and taste may deteriorate over time. Certain types of alcohol also don't need an expiration date as they have a very long shelf life when stored properly. Distilled spirits such as whiskey or vodka can last indefinitely while wines and beers generally have a shelf life of several years. Fresh produce like fruits and vegetables also don't come with an official expiration date but rather a best-by date which indicates when its quality starts to decline. It's up to individual judgment whether or not they want to consume produce past its prime. It's crucial to use common sense when determining if a food is still safe to eat even if it doesn't have an official expiration date listed on its packaging. Conclusion: expiration dates are not a scam, but they can be misleading if you don't understand how they work. Different types of foods have different shelf lives and storage requirements, so it's important to know what applies to each item in your pantry or fridge. Don't rely solely on the date printed on the package. Use your senses, smell, taste, texture, to determine whether food is still good or has gone bad. And when in doubt, throwing it out is always better than taking a chance with potentially harmful bacteria. By being aware and informed about expiration dates and food storage practices, we can make sure that we're keeping ourselves and our families safe while minimizing waste and maximizing freshness.